Whatever this is, it doesn't play music.
Well, that's because it's not a ghetto blaster from 1980, Gary. It is the Poweroak AC50, which is essentially an incredibly large battery.
Okay, so there's lots of reviews out there, but most of them are really looking at the person that maybe tows their accommodation behind their vehicle, don't they?
Yes, the world of the caravan or camper, and that's certainly not us. It is Joe Robinson. He is a man who likes to spend his life on the summer holiday under an awning, fending for himself.
He does, but we're going to use this in relationship to where we believe the electrician would best suit it. Shall we take a closer look at it?
Yeah, let's have a closer look. So this is actually a 500 watt hour battery.
Wow.
And if we look at this front panel, obviously it's got lots of different outputs. It's got a pure AC sine wave output that can power up to 300 watts of devices across both sockets.
Okay, so 300 watts, but the overall power of it is actually 450, but we can't get that out of the socket outlet, no?
Not out of socket outlet, but you can get it out of, obviously, some additional power out of what I would call the cigarette lighter, what I believe now people call it the accessory outlet. So there's 120 watts there. I'll do the maths for you, Gary. 12 volts, 10 amps, 120 watts. There's some DC outlets there. We haven't got a clue what you would use them for. Drop a comment below with sensible suggestions. And then possibly the bit that attracted us to this product, lots and lots of USBC outputs, including the 45 watt USBC with power delivery mode, which is something we're going to see more and more of going forward.
So overall 450 watts, but one socket outlet, 300 watt max.
Yeah, and you can check it, it's got a nice little display on here.
Well, that is nice, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see the obviously input power when you're charging. We'll come on to that later. You can switch the DC outputs on and off. And obviously then you can see what power you're drawing from them. And one additional method of getting power out of it, on the top we've got a wireless charging output. So if you drop your mobile phone on there, you can charge it wirelessly.
Oh, right, okay. Got it all covered then, really.
So that's pretty good. I mean, yeah, so we use loads of devices that USB-C, iPads, our radio mics. Yeah, so we had this out on site when we were down at the eLECTRICS show.
We did, yeah. We're down there with David Savory, and you could just see it in the background. We'd used it all the time we'd been there. It's often when you get to those stands, we were on a stand, weren't we, that you haven't got access to a socket outlet. So we took the mighty Poweroak with us, and it kept us going all day, didn't it?
And I carried it around for 2 days. At the end of the day, took it away, took it back to the hotel room, and yeah, and it's been great at that. But now we're going to look at what really you might think of it. What applications could electricians find for this, Gary?
So I'm thinking domestic dwelling. You go in there, maybe you're doing an EICR, or maybe doing some work where the power's got to be off. And then the customers at home obviously got a laptop, maybe their router, and also their mobile devices need charging. Drop this on top of their desk, walk away. I'm sure that'll be a happy customer, won't it?
Yeah, they can keep working. A lot of people work from home these days, apparently. You plug in everything and keep going for 500 watts worth of time, which for a laptop is probably the full working day. Internet routers don't take up much power, so it's ideal for that.
It's not going to power the kettle, though, is it, while you're on site? No.
It's not going to power the kettle. Before we move on to kettles, let's just have a look at actually how you charge this device up. So on the back here, again, if I flip it over.
Should we have a little closer look? I'll have a look in there, yeah.
Well, there's two things here. First thing, we've got a light.
Well, everything has a light, doesn't it?
Yeah, which might help if I powered it on and put the DC output on.
Okay, so turn it on.
And we've got a light, we've got 2 levels on the light, and what I thought was SOS, which I think was ... but I'm not sure that is. But anyway, it's
hazard flash then.
Doing something. Switch that off, and here's our input socket here. So it comes with a power adapter that you can plug in. We've got on the bench here, and I'll just plug that in.
That's a mains power adapter, yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll just...
I wonder if you'll know whether it's charging.
You will now.
Ah, yeah.
So there's the fans kicked in, so that's charging up at 86 watts. And obviously as that goes on, it's 86 watts. To charge 500 watts, it's, do the maths, Gary.
5 or 6 hours?
5 or 6 hours. So it does take quite a while to charge up. So you're going to...
You don't want to forget it in the morning, just half an hour before you leave the house, bang it on charge then, do you?
Well, you're not going to forget it, because that fan will remind you something's blown away in the background.
And when you talk about don't forgetting it, it's just over 6 kilograms in weight. So yeah, it's like an exercise ball as well when you take it out.
Which if you watch the caravan reviewers, they don't think that's that heavy, because they're used to lugging lead acid batteries around and things like that. In the morning, they're used to disposing of things to a chemical situation.
Just do that for you. Once again, it's only just over 6 kilograms in weight, which is fantastic.
Yeah. So some of those options, you can charge it from a cigarette lighter, or as these days we call it, the accessory socket in a car. So that lead comes with it, and you also get another lead that you can connect up to a solar panel.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Which is, obviously you can buy, but then I thought again, I think, the van is the future here, Gary. Stick this. You can get very thin solar panels. You could put one on the roof of your van and have this in the back.
And people will stop you and say, does your car just run on the solar above, or your
on
van?
The solar above, yeah.
That's great, and I know these are not just in the UK, obviously they're worldwide. I'm probably thinking North America, I'm thinking Australia, maybe where that sun is slightly more poignant in the day than perhaps here in Skipton.
It's always sunny in Skipton, Gary, as everyone knows. So one thing with all those leads, that they could have done with,
right,
as well as a DAB radio.
Well,
yeah,
and that's confusing, because suggesting that looks like a speaker and that looks like a speaker, and actually neither of them are speakers.
Yeah, it could do with a little box to keep the leads in.
Oh right, okay, a little pouch.
Yeah, it needs a pouch or just something.
Well, yeah, something extra in it maybe, just to drop those leads in.
I wouldn't like leaving my phone on top of there. Perhaps built in that pouch could have been an area to charge your phones, and possibly some of those USB sockets inside something.
Well, what we're talking about those USB sockets, we've only got one USB-C.
But it's good to see, but as I say, we know that's the direction of travel. We're going to see more and more of them. But Gary, I see you brought out on the bench one of my favourite products.
Okay, so we needed something to drain the energy from a battery. So nothing better on the planet than draining energy from batteries than the Makita coffee maker. You can almost make a couple of cups of coffee with one battery. So it was ideally suited, wasn't it, to drain the battery and then plug it in and see how many charges we could get. Now, what's your math saying that we're going to get?
Okay, so the setup we've got here, we've got 4 amp hour 18 volt LXT battery, which it tells me on the label here is 72 watt hours, so 72 watts for an hour. We've got a 500 watt hour battery there.
Go on then, Carol.
That should be nearly 7.
Nearly 7. So,
however,
so you're telling me that the math suggests that we can charge up 7 of those in a day, but we can obviously do it on the Makita coffee machine. Yeah,
but obviously we've got our mains charger. Nobody yet makes a one that you can plug into a USB-C. That would be good.
It would be good. Yeah,
or the cigarette lighter or accessory socket in your van.
Which sounds better, yeah.
So the challenge there, we're going to have some losses, because obviously we've got we're going from
the fan's quite noisy. I imagine there's a loss there.
The fan, we've got to power the fan. We've got we're going from DC to AC, back to DC.
Wow, yeah.
And then we're going to dump it into the coffee maker.
So we nearly charged that Makita battery 5 times, only nearly, which is 2.5 litres of warm solution we got over here. So I think for those people who own a Makita coffee maker, this must be the ideal tool to take around with you in order to make, well, about 9 cups of coffee in a day. Yeah,
well, plus minus what leaks out of the bench. It does leak like a leaky sieve at sometimes, but I would suggest, Gary, if you're drinking nearly 2.5 litres of coffee a day, clearly you're not doing a lot of work, are you?
No, probably not. But it just shows you that that battery is going to do what we're going to do. Almost 5 charges. So think of your power tools, couple of drills, multi-tool, etc. Do you believe that having fully charged maybe at the start of the day and the ability to charge them 4 more times, do you think that'll see you through a day?
Yeah, that depends. Not if you're drinking that amount of coffee, but yeah, think of where you're going to be charging as well. If you're on a big site and it's a centralised location where the power supply is, do you trust everybody on that site, Gary, not to swap their battery? It might be its end of life with your new batteries.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a chance for you to store this into your van and actually do your charging there. I think that's probably a safer way of keeping your batteries to your drills.
Yeah, now, final chance here, Gary. I thought, well, let's just see how it works. So for those people who don't have battery power tools,
right, okay.
I don't do a lot of scuffing, as my old boss used to call it.
So you're gonna fire this up then, are we?
Fire it up. Let's just see. So we've got a. Let's just fire it up. And I didn't realise when I pulled this out, actually, this is actually rated at 580 watts.
On load, probably. Yeah, so we just about got it there.
When you're destroying a load of metal. But there's probably quite a significant surge to get this started.
Right.
Because obviously it's a motor and it copes with that, yeah. So, but nobody uses plug-in tools anymore. I mean,
Apparently not, no.
No.
So the review from our point of view is based on your feedback now. Do you believe something of this item, and is it cheap?
We'll put a link in the description.
You can go and have a look.
You can go and have a look. Deep breath, folks.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's an investment. So, but the equation to do, is it cheaper than buying lots of batteries?
Right, okay, yeah.
To keep you going throughout the day, or having that on the van, and that ability to offer a bit of temporary power to the customer to keep them up and running.
See, that to me, that's the key point. That is to me, it's that domestic dwelling, dropping it on a table, problem's gone away, and it routers back on, all the rest of it. However, it's your feedback. Okay, so the Poweroak, and it's the AC50 that we looked at today. There are others in the range. Have you got one? Leave your feedback. Have you thought about getting one, and this video has done something to maybe sway you one way or another? Leave all those comments below, and we'll try and get back to as many as we can.